what we will do. And let me just bring it up so we can hold on. Yeah, here we go. Keyboard fun. Okay. We'll get it up, and I can't wait. And I know Todd. Hey, Todd, it's great to see you, by the way. I didn't say hello yet.
Hello, Mike. This is our first DTV episode in your new studio.
That is true. Okay, so learnopensourceecology.org?
It's learn.opensourceecology.
Oh, learn dot. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. My mama told me to improve my listening skills. Okay. Learn dot. Okay. Got it. Okay. We will get it. Perfect. Learn.opensourceecology. Okay. I've got it. Perfect. All right. So again, Marcin and Todd, thank you so much for your patience and your time. Now, my crew is composing the 3UP video. It's just going to take a minute, and then we can begin. So, Marcin, is your time okay to go to the bottom of the next hour?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, fantastic. And yeah, we'd love to help promote the academy that you have. And our audience is very responsive. Right, Todd? I mean, we hear this all the time from the guests.
Yep. I mean, I don't know if I should say this or not. We've had guests that have been on our show, little old our show, and then they've been featured on Alex Jones, which has a bigger audience, and our audience is just way more responsive. So,
our people are, Marcin, based on your speeches, what I saw of you, I think our audience is more in line with you. They're high intellect. They're compassionate about humanity. They believe in decentralization, and our audience is also pretty well off in terms of financial well-being. So it's a great audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And driven by principles rather than profits, by the way. Okay. One other thing, Marcin, is it possible you can point your camera slightly down to raise your head in the frame? Perfect. It didn't quite stay there. Let's see.
Let me maybe.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, Todd, I was just on Redacted.
I was watching.
You were watching it?
Yeah, great interview. Good
Did you
job.
see me blasting Susie Wiles for being the gatekeeper? Yeah. It's like,
that was a great interview.
this has got to change, man. This whole, we got to get back to real food, growing local food, eating healthy food.
Yes.
You can't Pop-Tart your way to prosperity. Hey, Todd, check out, I've got new desk art here today. Can you guys show a camera angle that shows my desk art?
Your way. Let me see.
Here we go. You see the kinetic sculpture we have right there?
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, and that, of course, it's got a little battery, so it keeps it going for a month. But
that's cool.
Something slightly meditative or distracting, something like that.
That's cool.
Okay. All right. So let's go back to the 3UP, but let's see how Marcin is framed now. And it's Jakubowski. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Perfect. Okay. To my producer, can you show us the 3UP now? Okay. So Marcin is not quite centered, almost perfect.
There you go.
There we go. If you can maintain that, it'll be great.
Marcin, just maintain
Perfect.
that. Just don't breathe. Just
don't breathe.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. So Todd, remember we're going to film our intro later.
Yep.
And we're just going to start the segment with our guest.
You got it.
Okay. So I'll bring us in. Let me know when we're recording, and we'll bring it on in. Is it Jakubowski or Jakubowski?
Jakubowski.
What is it?
Jakubowski.
Jakubowski. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. And that's Polish. I remember you saying, right?
Yes, indeed.
That's where you were born, and
I was born when the tanks were rolling down our streets in 1982.
Wow.
Friends of the Russians.
No kidding.
Oh yes.
Wow.
Hey, Marcin,
So
I'm happy.
Yeah, real food. I mean, we used to wait in line for food in long lines to get meat and butter.
Wow.
Hey, Marcin, quick question. I'm half Polish, half Czech. Which is Yaksimash, is that Czech or
Siemasz.
Polish?
That's Polish.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, Yaksimash.
Yeah, but your wife is Russian, so that takes away from the other European parts.
Yeah, we don't.
No, we don't talk about that. No, your wife is awesome. I'm playing around. My wife is from Taiwan, by the way, so we're a totally international group here. Okay, here we go. All right. What's that? Oh, what are you saying? Okay, thank you. Here we go. All right, so we're going to bring in our amazing guest here today, Todd. Are you ready for this one?
I am. We actually had a viewer of DTV message me about our guest and said, you must have him on. And I did my bit of due diligence and I messaged you in Signal and I said, we must have him on. And then
Absolutely.
the rest is history. I can't wait for everybody to just enjoy. You want to talk about, if you open up the dictionary and you found the word decentralization, decentralization stud, our guest's picture is right next
And
to
I
it.
found out in researching our guest, I found out, and I remember that I had seen his speeches from 2011 and 2012 and so on, and I thought it was the best idea ever. So we're going to bring him on. It's Marcin Jakubowski, and he is with Open Source Ecology, and he's got events coming up, and he's got lots of new things coming up. So Marcin, welcome to the show. It's a great honor to have you on today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, we love what you are all about, and which is, decentralization, open source, manufacturing of agricultural equipment to decentralized food production and much more. How about you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're into and why it matters for humanity?
Global Village Construction Set. So the program is to basically open source civilization. Hey, different paradigm for society. How do we get along where knowledge is open? You can learn fully, product design is open, the end of patents, local microfactories, resilient systems. That's the name of the game. I think the bottom line connects back to freedom, allowing basically creating abundant, widespread open access to all the technical know-how of humanity so that we can thrive. Okay, thriving is the bottom line.
And specifically, you don't just talk about this. You designed and released all. Can you tell us what you have available right now that people can tap into?
Right. So we've been working on a global village construction set for about a couple of decades now, and that's the 50 of the most important machines, tools that make modern life exist. And we publish all the blueprints online for free. So we've built things like your tractors, 3D printers, compressed earth block press, houses, you name it.
Wow.
Name some of the most critical devices. Now, we're not there yet. There's 50 machines. We've got 17 different prototypes. Right now, the absolute full product release it's called the Seed Eco Home. It's an affordable, expandable home with ecological features. And the way we develop it is that not only do we design the blueprints openly, but also the enterprise and also how you make the materials yourself too. So it's basically reinventing the industrial ecology to make a better civilization.
Well, Todd, again, thank you so much for recommending that we bring Marcin on. It's just a perfect fit. But in your view, Todd, why do you think this is such a great fit for decentralized living that we advocate?
Well, because at some point in time, there's going to be entire neighborhoods or villages that are going to be built with, as he shared, Seed Eco homes in days, not weeks or months, in days, and that are debt-free and community-owned. I kind of like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I mean, I live on a ranch. I own tractors, John Deere tractors, and I know that John Deere for a long time, they had software level control so that you couldn't even start your tractor if you weren't paid up on your loan. And if you did anything to modify the John Deere tractor, then it would void the whole warranty. And that's not okay with me. I want to be able to fix stuff on my own farm, right? That's important.
Absolutely.
Marcin?
That's exactly it. You named it. What can I add to that? The idea that we should be in control of our technology, not technology controlling us. So we've got an amazing technological system that could provide for everybody. And we certainly believe in abundance, but it's all these artificial mechanisms in civilization that make things scarce. And that's just not the way first principles operate with abundant energy and abundant resources on the planet.
Right.
It also seems to me like we're approaching the end game of the financialization of our Western system, and we're going to have a new system. And I think what you provide, Marcin, needs to be a fundamental pillar of a system that works for humanity in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think I would share the idea that yeah, things are broken. There's what is that called? It's Metcalfe's law. 90% of everything is bad. Choose the stuff that's good. Yeah, I mean, there's so much optimization and evolution that society can go through. So the next in our world, the next economy is the open source economy. It's a collaborative economy where, yeah, we can take care of everybody. That's the bottom line.
Wow. Todd, love it. Open source economy.
Yeah.
This is what we practice this on the show all the time. This is how we live. Also,
Absolutely, absolutely. Marcin, this is for the benefit of our viewers, just who may not know about your past, but you took the, I don't know, I'd call it the usual path a young man travels by graduating with honors from Princeton and then earning an esteemed PhD in fusion physics from the University of Wisconsin, and then starting a farm in rural Missouri, which became the birthplace for.
that's the fusion capital of America.
That's right, and it became the birthplace of the Global Village Construction Center, GVCS. So no big deal. Marcin, I have two questions. What was your red pill moment that drove you from academia to pursue real world independence? And two, what is open source ecology and the Global Village construction set?
Red pill moment was actually starting to meditate. This was during the PhD program. And I pretty much tuned to a different wavelength. I started really thinking about what, with the advanced technology that we have. I mean, I always thought about benefit to humanity that technology can provide. My father's a scientist. But the farther I was going in my PhD program, the less useful I was feeling to society. So I've spoken this story many times, but basically, you got your theoretical professors writing equations across half the board, and they don't even, these things that they talk about don't even exist. So it's like, okay, we've got hunger, poverty, real issues. I come from Poland, so I've seen some of that material deprivation side too, prior to the Iron Curtain falling down. And that was not okay. I had a real disconnect and pretty much tuned into just thinking about open collaboration, because even in my PhD program, I was not able to talk openly to others. And once I really started delving into that and thinking about it and meditating on that, pretty much the idea of open source ecology was born. It's an idea of an operating system for Earth that would be based on true open collaboration. So I just said the example where even at the academia, you're not able to talk openly about things. And I was thinking, it's like, well, how does this persist throughout civilization where everything is closed and hidden, black boxes, your John Deeres that you can't touch what's under the hood and things like that. It's just a super inefficient system. And I was also introduced actually to Linux, the computer, the open source operating system at that time. Interestingly, I was like, whoa, you mean you can just download this for free and modify it, run it, and put new software on it, whatever. And yeah, it's there's different options. So once you pretty much maybe disconnect or just start thinking differently than what's presented to you on the consumer platter, then things become much more interesting. Yeah.
So, first of all, that's fascinating, and I love what you just said. And it's really critical. Like I said, the current closed source system is not going to work for humanity. And you mentioned patents, and I completely agree with you. I am strongly opposed to the current intellectual property system, which seems to benefit powerful corporations that then exploit essentially government granted monopoly power over the people. And that's also true in medicine, by the way, with the pharmaceuticals. They exert monopoly power and don't let you talk about nutrition. So what would you say to somebody that said, well, without patents, there would be no innovation. Because, I mean, we can laugh about that, but that's a serious argument that people put out there. What's
Yeah.
your response to that?
It's an argument we deal with all the time, but I think the true answer is without patents, the innovation would be unleashed. Because if you just think about it, it's like, okay, in school you don't learn the best stuff. All the good stuff, meaning things that work, optimized commercial designs, they're all proprietary. So think about it, when you're learning about it, there's absolutely no chance in heaven that you would get access to actual effective learning. So everyone tries to reinvent the wheel, they compete, and it's just not an efficient system. Now what do you say to an argument that somebody says, oh, well, I can invest into this and then protect it? Yeah, that's a decent argument, but I don't know. There's economic examples that's a choice, I would say, but there's no law of nature that says a thing must be patented. It's a complete human figment. And if we
Well, I think that there are also other incentives other than profit. Many people want to help humanity. Many people want to contribute. Many wealthy people even want to contribute. And so, those arguing that there will be no innovation if you end patents, they're not looking at the fact that even also nature innovates all the time. I mean, think about biomimicry. Of trying to mimic the molecules in plants. Well, the plants didn't need patents to come up with vitamin C. They synthesized vitamin C by themselves, completely free of charge, no royalties.
Yeah.
So how did that happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, for software, open source has been normalized, so there's a great precedent there. Just when it comes to innovation in hardware, people just do not connect that the same kinds of mechanisms that make software work, meaning more rapid innovation, lower cost, higher efficiency, all of that good stuff. That is just inevitable. Right now, I believe personally that we're in a stone age of innovation and R&D and everything.
I agree.
Take.
But Marcin, if and Mike, if there are no patents, it's going to hurt a lot of lawyers' feelings, isn't it? Guys?
Yeah.
There are remedies for that, yes.
The idea is that, we have to shift to endeavors that are actually much more fulfilling. So how many lawyers love their job? I'm not sure. Probably, I don't know. But the idea is that, no, you shift away from things that are dedicated to the economy of competition and scarcity, and you just replace that with, now imagine just following your true passions and ideals, right? You just unleash a different lifestyle, as opposed to, I got to be this lawyer or doctor or a proprietary manufacturer to make ends meet. That's an option. It's a really inefficient one.
Now, can I change course here? I have a totally different question for you about your blueprints on the equipment. I believe your equipment is primarily those that have engines are designed around combustion engines.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, I'm waiting for sodium ion battery chemistry to become widespread, which is just beginning to happen. And I'm wondering if you're thinking that down the road that many of your machines might be standardized around a sodium ion power center that could be universal, and it would simplify a lot of the parts on machines. Is that something that I'm sure you've thought about that?
Yeah,
where are you
thought
going
about it, and the first principles answer: chemical battery power is 10x lower embodied energy
for now?
than fuels. So what we talk about is another form of abundance, and that's called solar hydrogen. So you've got solar energy, which now is near zero marginal cost, and we favor the idea of solar hydrogen.
That makes sense.
You use that in combustion engines. You don't even need fuel cells. Solar hydrogen, internal combustion engines. Today, we have a revolution if we want to.
See, that's a really good point. So for the audience, you have solar power cracking water, producing hydrogen. You're storing energy every single day, and then you pump that hydrogen into your tractor engine or whatever engine you want, and you can build the engine.
For example, we intend to make the hydrogen appliance a standard feature in all our homes. There you go.
Love it. Love it. Okay, perfect. And for those concerned about carbon, that's a non-carbon emitting technology cycle or energy cycle right there.
probably a lot of people are going to question safety. Those issues and all that, they've been worked out. It's like a lot of people say, "Oh, you're going to explode, blow up, blow the world up." No, those are technical issues. They've been solved.
Yeah. But you still have the complexity of all the parts. How do you handle combustion engine parts like oil filters and belts and
yeah.
things like that?
The answer is simple. With open source, of course. Open design for everything, and
Yeah.
you manufacture this stuff. Look, there's no limit to what open source can do. If you open the information, you can have distributed manufacturing anywhere. So I used to be more of the guy that would say, oh well, maybe we got, like for example, the initial engine within a Global Village construction set was the steam engine. And after learning enough about it, I thought, oh well, it's an old technology, maybe simpler. But it turns out actually internal combustion engines I actually don't find fault with them. They're actually, if you open source them and you have, say, open source CNC machining and whole production and design tool chains, which allow you to do now lifetime design, not things that last your skid steer, 5,000 hours. You get to buy a new one if you're in production, like a builder. Nuh-uh. How about 50 years, because you can replace the parts and maintain it and upgrade it. How about that with modular power units, for example?
So it seems like then 3D printing is something that you've talked about that I know you're very interested in. Of course, I've done a lot of 3D printing and 3D design, and as you know, the so-called metal filaments are not yet, ready for production in most renditions of 3D printing. But that can change very rapidly. Do you see a future where maybe every household would have a metal capable 3D printer or a polymer capable printer that's not just a bunch of layers that fall apart, but rather something very durable, and you just print out. You can print out a tractor, essentially.
I actually do. It's the technology, like for example, with wire arc additive manufacturing, that's where you're depositing instead of filament, you're actually doing a precise welder that builds up parts in 3D. Then there's all these like laser sintering kinds of routes with powders. But no, I mean, from first principles, why not? The technology is definitely improving. As far as the evolution of humanity is, we have seen nothing yet. Technology moves forward. So if the technology becomes open and accessible to everybody, yes, you can do that in your backyard, pending availability of design and all that. So
Right.
But what about our HOAs? Aren't they going to give us? Sorry.
Yeah, the HOAs will. We will be the solar hydrogen HOA.
Love it.
Wow, Todd, how would you like to print out a tractor? But then you'd have to assemble it because it would print all the parts.
Right.
You'd have to put it together, but that'd be a fun project too. And then you could have a tractor with your raccoons in the backyard there.
We're all project guys, and my raccoons can chip in. They're pretty smart.
They can help. They have fingers.
They do.
They do. Little raccoon fingers.
With opposing thumbs.
That's right. Make them use ratchets and stuff.
Regarding assembly part, I mean, different ways to do it. You can print modular parts. You can print more monolithic assemblies, like say a whole shell structure frame, more like a space frame. So yeah, you do open up some possibilities and creativity.
I'm just going to print a robot and tell it to assemble the rest of it. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, that's coming.
There you go.
That's self-replicating, self-printing robots that print more robots like themselves.
Right. Hey, Mark. Oh, go ahead.
Let me point out one thing about it. It's like that's already there, but it's centralized. That's all possible.
Yeah. Right.
The key here is, where's that robot? Robot slaves that will take care of everybody's life forever, that was promised a long time ago. Well, it exists, but it's because the costs are high and all the info is locked up and not open. This becomes the realm of centralized big power mongering, not distributed production. So that's a comment on that.
Wait, real quick, Tom. Let me give out a couple of websites that he's got. So the base URL is opensourceecology.org, which I have on my screen. But what we want to bring your attention to today is this, which is learn.opensourceecology.org. So just put learn dot in front of it. And then this features the Future Builders Academy, how to become a future builder. And I just want to, after your question, Todd, I just want to give Marcin an opportunity to tell us about this website, but go ahead.
Sure.
Oh, go ahead.
So Marcin, the Global Village construction set fascinated me, and it is a set of the 50 most important machines that it takes for modern life to exist. So 2 questions. Among the 50 machines, which would you urge a budding community, let's say, to build first, and why? And 2, in a grid down or crisis scenario like economic collapse, supply chain disruption, severe weather, how much of a community survival can OSE tools realistically provide?
Okay. So the first tool I would build is the 3D printer, because that's it's smaller scale, easier, and it's quite amazing at what can do, even if you're doing 3D printed plastics. But think about it though, with plastics, you can embed metal, Kevlar, carbon fiber into that plastic. So now the things you're printing gain this extra performance. So you can really go far just with basic technologies there. Okay, as far as resilient scenario, sorry guys, not yet, because we're completely dependent on commercial supply chains right now. However, the goal is to finish all the 50 things, which include things like induction furnace for metal melting and metal rolling to make virgin steel from scrap. Various things like that, CNC machining, so that once all the tools are in there, you're independent of the supply chains. And we're about 4 years. Our goal is to scale rapidly right now. By 2028, finish the 50 tools.
Wow.
This also seems to me like this is the civilization pod that would be shipped with a crew that went to Mars or somewhere like that. If you're going to land on another planet, this is the tech that you need, because you can't say, oops, the oil filter's back on Earth. How do we start civilization from scratch? That's really the problem that you're working on here and solving.
Yeah, it's rocks, sunlight, plants, soil, water. That's the substances from which all of our modern comforts are made. Got to get back to them, and the ability to process those abundant natural resources into the livestock of modern civilization. That's the goal.
That is fascinating, because you're recreating actually thousands of years of innovation. You're sort of repackaging it in a simpler timeline. That's super cool. Did you have to study a lot of history to get to your designs on these machines?
What you do is, I say a lot of what industry standards are. What has society done before? Definitely his technological history is important, because at that point you get to understand, hey, these things have a natural progression. There's different ways to do things. There may be some things right now that are out there that shouldn't be, or things that didn't make it out there. It's all human made. It's all we are the directors of that. But yeah, absolutely, you have to, if you're going to try to create something from scratch, you really got to study what's existed. So we talk about recreating not only the industrial economic system, but therefore the new institutions that live on top of that.
Yeah. Well, and let me ask you this question, and sorry, Todd, if I'm jumping in too much, but on my ranch, I found that I can do almost everything that I need to do in terms of moving dirt and creating berms for rainwater capture and so on with just 3 machines. So I own a skid steer.
Yep.
I own a small excavator, and then I own a dump truck. With those 3 pieces of equipment, I can do everything that I need to do, and I could even go without maybe the skid steer. It'd just be a lot slower. But those 3 is like a magic combination. So these are the kinds of principles that you work on, right? There's just certain key pieces of equipment that you have to get things done.
Yeah, exactly right. We have a term for that concept. It's called degeneracy. It's the idea that instead of like 100 different engines, why don't we build one that is actually good? Right now, all the engine guys, all the different engine manufacturers say, no, we're the best. And there's fan ships on each of these these engines. But no, I mean, none of them are good. They're all poor because they all are competing. So we look at this idea, okay, what are the most important what's the most important smaller set of tools and technologies that will do everything for you? Things that are very generative, things that you can treat as a construction set, i.e. like a construction set approach. So for example, if you've got a common bunch of parts like frames, engine units, hydraulics, you can build a tractor, a brick press, a CNC machine, you can build your excavator and dump truck and loader and all that. So we focus on the modules that make all of technology up.
Wow, love it. Todd, back to you.
Well, excuse me, I was just thinking a note. If I get stranded on an island, Marcin is with me. Sorry.
Call Marcin on your sat phone,
Yeah. So,
with open source jet plane, we'll come to the rescue.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, I was thinking about, your top 50, and I was just fantasizing about maybe just sending those top 50 to Washington. And I was curious if a bulldozer happened to be one of your top 50, Marcin.
It indeed is. The tractor and bulldozer are both in there.
Excellent. Excellent. So, in past interviews, you referenced, and I love this, that failures are actually fertilizer. Tell me, what's been your most painful failure or setback on this journey, and what did it teach you about human nature or decentralized collaboration?
Well, the biggest setback is the lack of what we call collaborative literacy, the idea that people truly collaborate. So you'd even had the biggest hippies, once they actually develop something, they privatize it. We've seen that with people who came to our site. So the culture is rare. People who are actually possess the diverse skill sets, starting with an abundance mindset. I mean, that is absolutely missing. The collaborative abundance mindset, which prevents people from collaborating. Because if you think about this, we can have a completely open civilization, like with a minimal amount of effort. Like that effort is actually, I calculate it to be $50 billion. You can open source all of civilization. And that's in fact our goal by 2036. But if you think about it, it's like, okay, now we've got this new kernel that propagates and everything else is done openly. That's a game changer. But nobody has that kind of mindset that says, okay, if I'm going to do that, if I'm going to collaborate on this, there's going to be a benefit for everybody. Everybody's just thinking, oh, if it's open, I can't make money. So especially the entrepreneurs, we've seen very few entrepreneurs that actually get the idea, because we think, oh, well, we published the tractor blueprints, the brick press. Surely, like hundreds of people are now going to take it and start businesses all over the world. Zero.
Right. Well, it's kind of like, rare, right, is an entrepreneur that creates an entire new AI engine that competes with Grok and Chat GPT and gives it to the world for free,
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, because we just did that. Thanks for the intro there, Todd. Let me bring this up to show Marcin how much we align philosophically. So on my screen here, please. So we built an AI engine that is trained on hundreds of millions of pages of content, including growing food, harvesting food, preserving food, extracting medicinal components, and it's at brightu.ai here, and currently we call it Enoch. But the important thing that we did, if you click downloads, you can download the decentralized file, the gguf file right here, and then you can run it locally yourself. You never need internet again to have access to all this compressed knowledge. And so, yeah, go ahead, Marcin.
Do you have any machines or designs of actual things that can help us too?
Not in this engine, except we did train it on how to disassemble and reassemble 3,000 firearms, if that counts. Okay. But we would, if you have material that we could add to the training of this model documents, we would absolutely welcome that. Now, there's a lot of old books in it. There's about 10,000 books that it was trained on. Many of those are sort of old pioneer type of, technologies or approaches to growing food, or building a root cellar, or how to diagnose problems on plants or pests or mineral deficiencies in the soil and things like that. So we designed this engine just like what you're doing, Marcin. We designed it to be able to give to somebody on a thumb drive, somebody that does not have the internet access. Maybe they're in a developing nation. They can load it up and they can have the world's how-to knowledge at their fingertips for free, open source.
For free. And MIT license, I like it, yeah.
MIT, yeah, exactly.
You can parse our wiki. So I don't know, the wiki is a trove of this kind of information I'm telling you.
Oh, okay, so where is your wiki? Say no more. Let me get my crawler working on that.
Wiki.opensourceecology.org.
Oh, crazy. Okay, I love it. Okay. That's what I'm going to do this weekend. Thank you.
Aren't you glad I cracked a joke, Mike?
I love it. Yeah, because we believe in the same things here, and what we love about you, Marcin, is that you get it, because we live in a society where everybody wants to be Elon Musk. This is, I want to make $1 billion by controlling everything and centralizing everything. Okay, well, that's great for Elon, but what about, there's 8 billion other people.
Yeah.
Many of them are starving. Many of them are in poverty. Many of them don't have shelter. What are we going to do for those 8 billion people,
Yeah, and that's an absolutely powerful question, because the solutions for that all exist, and it's a matter of opening up access to the information. Just get away
Yep.
from hoarding. Yeah.
Yep. Knowledge wants to be free. That's what I've said.
Yep.
And the other great thing, Marcin, is that all of our data curation processing for this engine happens on 48 workstations running Linux.
All right. There you
So
go.
it's all perfect. I don't pay Microsoft a dime.
Yeah.
Hey, Marcin, what do you think it is about humanity to where we, are hoarders, or we're like, we resist open source, and we are just looking out for where's my fancy pants and lollipops in all of this?
I think it has to do with the reptilian brain, the idea that our psychology has not evolved. So the threat of survival was real, maybe 100,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, 1,000,000 years ago, when we crawled out from the muck or whatever. But our mind is still in that kind of mode of flight and fight response. So very easily, if our existence is threatened in any way, we go to the negative response very quick. We get afraid really quickly, and that, I think, predominates. That's the underpinning of the whole scarcity-based economy. It's like, if I give away my stuff, I'm going to be threatened. So that does not meet the current status of amazing technology that actually can provide for everybody, which was not true maybe a long time ago, but right now it is, and our brains haven't caught up to that.
And you know what? Uh, I mean, there are a couple of kinds of math. There's 1 + 1 + 1 = 1. I mean, 3, right? And then there's the math, if you approach it a little differently, like I believe you are, where 1 + 1 + 1 can equal 111. It's greater than the sum of our parts. And I do see that out there, but it's rare. So you are providing that, and we're grateful.
Yeah, I mean, I must say it's extremely rare. I mean, what other company out there is actively developing open source goods that anyone can download and build themselves? For example, the house. You can download all our blueprints right now, start an enterprise. If you can run a crew like we talk about with the 24 person swarm builds, that's a
Right.
$5 million a net revenue model. You can just take all our designs, take our enterprise model and run with it.
Wow.
But who else is doing that kind of work? I wish there were, because I would take it and run with it myself. I want to build the integrated prototype communities of tomorrow.
It's everything that you advocate here is also, it's very interesting. It's kind of begging for automation at the edge, not centralized automation, but automation at the edge. And so I'm thinking that eventually you'll have a plan for building a ranch robot, which is something that's been on my list for a long time. I want like a rural robot that is open, that's running open source, an open source brain. But it seems like living off grid, living decentralized is going to require some level of fusing technology with old world wisdom at the same time, right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. You've got to build use what works already. You can have your fancy things like the automation or your automated skid steer with a computer artificial intelligence grading system, which we would be able to build for like $25,000 as opposed to $180,000 for a commercial system today. All that kind of stuff. That's new stuff. But absolutely, yeah. Use the wisdom of yesterday. Use your perennial polycultures, as opposed to, say, genetic engineering. Maybe there's some good things for genetic engineering, but why don't we focus more on the integrated systems thinking that maybe all technology is more based upon?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I love the fact that your plans contain a skid steer. I say this as a joke, but it's true. My skid steer is the most expensive vehicle I own, because it's way more expensive than my truck, but it's also the most important thing that I own on the ranch for moving boulders and many other things and all the attachments. So, that's interesting that even in the skid steer community, or compact track loader, as they're called when they have tracks, there's an open source attachment system, right? I mean, an open source interconnectedness that I use all the time. So I can go out and buy 1,000 different attachments that attach onto it and use the hydraulics. So there's kind of an inkling of open source thinking, right?
There's a hint of it, and the point is that can be taken to the extreme where, for one, we use the the Bobcat quick attach ourselves. Let me see
Yeah, your focus just
focus died here.
that's okay. But yeah.
The logical extreme of that is, well, first of all, you got to open source the design, open source the automated fabrication mechanisms for doing that, and then let people design their own. So in software like FreeCAD, you have workbenches that help you design these new tools and then share them, improve them over time. Start a business upon it. Build that automated grader for the skid steer that would otherwise cost you $180,000. And you can do that for, with simple Arduino-like and RTK GPS kind of parts that are obtainable for like $500 now. So yeah, the reality is that we can do much more. There are hints, but I don't think anybody thinks in this. It does not make good money, because then you're talking about, lifetime design, infinite functionality. You buy it once, you are free forever. That's a hard business model to execute on. We're working on exactly that. We call it the universal basic assets, creating architectures, institutions where you can build stuff for free. That's
Wait a minute,
exactly
I
right.
love
That's a hard business model.
Instead of universal basic income, universal basic assets.
Exactly.
I love it. And you're right. No venture capital firm is going to invest in this idea because they're like, what's your repeat business model? Oh, it doesn't exist because people are set up for life.
Yeah, but tell me, I got a question for you. So how do people adjust that? Because at that point, you got to be able to find meaning in your own life. And maybe that's a big part that scares a lot of people. How do you guys think about that? Because the technical ability is absolutely there for everybody to thrive. So how do you answer when somebody says, well, what am I going to do? Or what am I going to do for a living? Like, how do you answer that?
Well, personally, I think the entire the cultural understanding of money is about to undergo a collapse and a revolution. And notably, the GDP does not count happiness, health, or joy, or any of the things that matter in people's lives. So I think money as we know it is becoming obsolete. And that's going to force a cultural reevaluation of what are systems of value. But I don't know. What do you think, Todd? What would you add to that?
I don't know. Just direct people to their remote controls. They'll be happy.
Yeah. Do you think there's an uptick in sensitivity to people wanting this true freedom at this time in history as things are going down the basket?
Yes.
I think
Clearly.
it is. Absolutely. It's an opportunity right now.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, I just have to borrow this because, I help people acquire these unincorporated nonprofit associations, and Marcin just nailed it. Buy it once, free forever. Right? So that resonates. And I can tell you, I have about 400 people I've helped acquire these who totally resonate with this mindset, Marcin.
Well, if that's the case, sign them up to the Future Builders Academy, because that's what we're training people to do, to create these innovative business models where we liberate all of society. And we're doing it. I mean, we're not far.
Okay.
We've got a long way to go, but this is what it's about.
Marcin, you're going to love this, and I don't mean to keep plugging my projects, but this one is exactly in line. We're about to launch. It's brighteonbooks.com. It's an open source free book generator. The world's knowledge at your fingertips, created in minutes for free. And all of these books will be nonfiction books, mostly how-to books. And we let the users use our AI engine and all of our special setup to generate the books. And then every book that every user generates is instantly downloadable by all other users completely free.
That's amazing. So how are you funding or doing this? How did you get into the mindset of doing exactly this?
Oh, well, I mean, well, we have a very successful online store of nutrition and health products,
Yeah.
healthrangerstore.com. And we just directly appeal to our base to say,
Yeah.
look, you shop with us because we have a lab and we do lab testing. We sell clean lab tested products. You shop with us, and then we will build tools for humanity and give them away for free. That's our
love it.
message. And it absolutely works. They choose to support us.
Yes.
It's like, I will pay more for your turmeric supplement because I know what you're doing with the profit. You're building systems that give back to humanity. And as far as I know, there's no other corporation that would even dare attempt such a model.
No.
But
But what do your board of directors say, Mike, that you have to be
you
accountable
mean
to?
my wife? And, and yeah, we're all in. I mean, this is our model. It's a pro-human model, and it's a pro-knowledge model, and we're just bypassing the gatekeepers. We're not asking for permission, right, Marcin? We do not ask for permission. That's your philosophy too.
We go about doing so. We create, right? So the creator controls their creation, right? I mean, it's all made up. It's completely negotiable. So we completely believe that as in the entrepreneurial spirit of true free enterprise.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I can't wait again to crawl your wiki. I'm going to get the model train on all your stuff.
I love it.
So the next version, when people start asking, actually, because our book generator uses the knowledge that the model has been trained on, but it also references external documents. So I can take all your web pages, I can put them in our external index in a week, and it'll start influencing the books that are generated the very next day.
Yeah.
So thank you, Marcin.
Thank you. Yeah. That's awesome.
Very cool.
I'm curious, like, what would come out of this in terms of maybe people collaborating on further open designs, because it's going to take a lot of people. Like the real budget, we estimate $50 million within 4 years, and we're aiming to bootstrap that through the actual house sales, for which we're doing an apprenticeship. So we're ambitious about
that's
it. But I mean,
great.
the real cost, it's like if you're going to develop an open source skid steer, say from the point where we are, we've done all the prototypes. We've done about 7 prototypes. Now to commercialize, I mean, that's a long way. That's where it takes it from that one-off kind of thing that you can do in your garage or whatever to something that anybody can build anywhere. And
tell us about your upcoming event happening in December.
December 1 to the 14th. So we're building a house, one of the Seed Eco homes, a complete 720 square foot high quality starter home in 2 weeks. So you go through all the build process from foundation to the photovoltaics on the roof, heat pumps, thermal battery, and all the stuff in just 2 weeks. Yeah, so
and where can people, sign up or watch it, or what's the?
Yeah, there's a link at the learn.opensourceecology for the Future Builder crash course. Also, just go to the opensourceecology.org and you'll see the extreme build events. So this is an example of an extreme build event where, for example, this house we built with 50 people in only 5 days, and we use this modular swarm-based build method. And I talk about that in a video. You can click on it.
That's awesome.
So should people click sign up here? I mean, give us an action item. Like, what should people click on?
There's so this is trying to get people for the builder crash. If you scroll down, sign up for the next builder crash course right below it. Sign up for the future builder
right
crash
here.
course. That's the link you want to click.
Great. Okay.
And then you can see the background on a global village construction set. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a lot of interest in this, and people will want to participate and learn from this and see the videos, etc.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
So, Marcin, what would you estimate that would cost? Right? Do you have any idea? Yeah.
The house is 40K in materials.
On the page right here.
40,000 in materials. Put that on a plot of land. You've just generated $400,000 for the equivalent price of a small home.
Wow.
It's $40,000, you said?
In materials.
In materials.
You have to know how to build it. Yes, exactly.
Right. Okay.
It includes the
got you.
photovoltaics, all the stuff you see in there, all the efficiency features.
Wow.
Amazing.
And could you benefit from on-site materials if you had sand or clay or gravel on-site or mud?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you're going back to the universal basic assets. Now, the promise in our apprenticeship is you go to study with us 4 years. We build you a house for free. How do you do that? Lumber mill, compressed earth block press, solar concrete production. We even will produce steel and 3D printed parts. So invest in the capital infrastructure necessary to actually build the materials, including things like insulation, like whether hempcrete or other 3D printed fiber materials and things like that. It's invest in the infrastructure that can make the materials cost go down to negligible. Gravel.
Hey, Todd,
there's like $2,000 to $4,000 in gravel per house. That's huge.
Wow.
the answer from the government, though, is a 50-year mortgage on a house that's poorly built that won't last 50 years.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, that's insane.
Yeah,
Todd, you want a 50-year mortgage?
yeah. I mean, I'd prefer go to our school at 18, and by 22, you've got that dream American home, and there you go. You can spend your life doing whatever you love.
That's awesome.
Right. And we don't all need to live in McMansions that are 5,000 square feet and have 7 bathrooms or whatever. I mean, that's too much maintenance.
Oh yeah.
Come on. Okay. Yeah, Todd, all yours.
Okay.
I'm just so blown away here.
Yeah, it's amazing. Marcin, let's talk about truly decentralized communities.
Yep.
So, can you paint us a picture of a small community running its own open source micro factory?
Yeah.
What are they producing? How are they sharing? And how self-sufficient can they truly become?
So here's the idea. I mean, when we think about this, we think about what Walt Disney actually thought about when he coined the concept of Epcot, which is the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. That didn't end up that it turned out to be an amusement park, but the idea was, let's show what can be done. So for us, it's 1,000 acres, 10,000 people. We've got all the productive know-how. So you're producing your milk, bread, tractors, and technology, energy, everything, materials. Initially, so that's 1,000 acres. We look at a prototype. What we want to do is actually 10,000 people, and you run this amazing economy. And if you use the tools in the Global Village Construction said the numbers add up to a $4 billion economy when you work 2 days a week. Based on insane productivity, such as, you can understand this very easily, a mobile production sawmill generates about $20,000 worth of lumber per day. It's that kind of stuff, the radical productivity that you do have embodied in technology. And if you can use it wisely, if it's fully available, you're just doing that easily. And then your lifestyle is, okay, you've got this regenerative lifestyle, you're making your own food and energy and things in the community. And it can be structured, whatever business structures, however you want it, but everything is just clean and integral and honest, and nobody's left behind in such a community. Now it does the big block there, the skill sets to do that. Now how do we do that? That's why we started the 4-year program. But any civilization transform effort must start with education, though. I mean, that's kind of one of our learnings.
Absolutely. And
will the 3D printers print SNAP benefits in your community?
They'll 3D print your retirement plan. Indeed.
Marcin, the other thing that I've come to learn in years of experimenting with these kinds of things and building out systems is, for example, for food production, the West likes to make things overly complicated with, for example, hydroponic food production requires very complex pumps, chemistry monitoring, and so on. Well, years ago, I stumbled across non-circulating suspended net pot aeroponic hydroponics, no pumps. You don't lose your crop if the power goes out. It came out of ancient technology in Taiwan for growing plants on rafts, where the part of the roots are in the air and the other roots are in the water, and the nutrients are automatically brought up. You don't need any pumps at all. I'm telling you, Todd, we were growing for years. We were growing kale and lettuce. We were growing freaking okra out of these boxes with no electricity at all. And yet I shared that with the world, and there were some schools that were interested, but by and large, there was not any kind of major interest in it. Everybody was like, no, I want a really complex system that can fail at any time. Marcin, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's interesting. You have those designs?
Yeah.
Send them out.
We do. Sure. In fact, we use a CNC laser to cut the holes for the net pots out of lids on bins, polyethylene lids. And for a while, we even sold them in our store.
Yeah.
And people loved them, but they're big and bulky.
Yeah.
But
so we've on the CD home, we've done the aquaponic greenhouse. So that's fish. You do have pumps in there, but yeah, it's a highly ecological integrated system with integrated pest management and everything. But yeah, I mean, there's technology for everything. But like in a system like that, just to give you an example, you have to know what you're talking about in terms of how to make it work. For example, with all the pest management stuff, the integrated nature of that whole system. That's the kind of learning, the integrated learning that people have to go through.
And the fish system that you were just talking about, that is very complex because you have to infuse O2 into that water for those fish because they're living in a very high density population water. If you lose oxygen infusion, you lose the whole population.
Yeah, depending on how densely you stock it. Yeah, in our system, like the fish, actually the tilapia would come up for air if the pumps went out, which sometimes we forgot to put the pumps on.
Oh, I'm glad they're okay.
Yeah.
But like you, I like to go for really simple low tech things where possible. But then sometimes we use high tech to make the low tech things.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely, that's a perfect blending of the old and new.
Absolutely, because and Todd, your reaction to this, but you and I both, we love things that work when the power grid goes out or when a hurricane blows through, like it did at your place in Florida.
Yep.
We know earthquakes happen. We know that our modern world is unpredictable in many ways. I want resilient, redundant systems that are very low tech that I can depend on, like gravity rainwater collection.
Yeah,
makes perfect sense.
Yeah, a lot of things make perfect sense, and yeah, a lot of those things maybe are not in place because nobody's making money on them.
Right.
So true. All right, Todd, next question is yours.
Marcin, as governments and corporations tighten digital and physical control systems, what strategies, technological and cultural, can communities use to remain sovereign?
It goes as far as regulatory capture. You create the new economy, and the new economy creates the new politics. So, I mean, think about it. If we've got our village on 1,000 acres, and we're on top of 4 billion of production, we kind of get to call the rules. We get to own the economy. I look at it as a positive version of so-called regulatory capture, where you become the law because you've got the economic power. So I believe that the institutions come, I think it's obvious, the institutions come from economic power. Now, if the economic power source, base, is completely different, then you better believe your politics and governance, all of that will be different too, right? So we look at it as this fundamental, create the thing from the bottom up. Now that's a big challenge because there's a lot of work to be done there. You're literally recreating systems like Phoenix from the ashes, right?
But then at some level, doesn't that dreaded human nature kick in to where but what about me muscle rears its ugly head?
That's why in this process, cultivating the human spirit, that is the challenge. It's not about the technology. The technology is there, we can create more access for it, but as I mentioned, you have to re-educate or educate people to be integral humans, building up their character and moral intelligence.
How do you go about that though? I mean, you don't just
how do you
click
go
your
about it?
Yeah.
Through your actions. Like for example, if we are doing our stuff, we start our school, we are sharing openly. Part of the stuff we do is service to service projects. But I mean, just the very fact that we're producing stuff to give out there for free, that is plain love. It inspires people.
Yeah, that's right.
That's how you change the world.
Yeah.
It's also
give an example. Hey, it's doable and it's being done. So we're not sitting around. We're doing this. We're living it. And then people can get inspired for it and just rewire. I mean, we literally have to rewire our brains to this different way of thinking.
Absolutely.
I would add, I think it's a demonstration of high intelligence to be able to navigate this world as you help others, where everybody wins in the relationship. And I think it's a sign of low intelligence to be involved in businesses that are win-lose propositions. But that's the core of our economy. We win, you lose. We have the monopoly. You have no power. But I think this cultural shift is beginning to change. You know, we talked about open source software. There's, I mean, open source AI models are becoming extremely popular now, and they're beating many of the closed source models. So I think that things can change. We can change culture over time into a mindset where it's okay if other people win too.
Yeah. I also tend to think that this is actually inevitable, because what's the other side? It's destruction. So it's either we survive and evolve, or it's like we're going to go down.
Absolutely. And if we do go down, I want your blueprints.
Yeah. That's what
That's
we're
for
doing,
sure.
because we're racing. The collaborative singularity here is racing with the so-called normal singularity that's a coming down the pike.
Wow. Hey, Marcin, I have a final question, because I know we're
Oh, I can't believe. I'm sorry. We've kept you over.
yeah. So
This has gone so fast. I can't
I
believe it.
know it's fascinating. Marcin, when history looks back on open source ecology, what do you hope it represents? And how can someone watching right now take their first small step towards building the next civilization with you?
Oh man, I hope that in the future we will look back at this time and it's like, wow, we were subhumans. Maybe just like we talk
Right.
about the ancient people. That's what I would like to contribute to a world where, hey, we've given up that scarcity competitive mindset and turned to empowering everybody. Just a bright future like we dream about as little kids. That's there for everybody.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you've been a fascinating guest.
Oh man, we could talk for hours. Let me give out your website though. Again, it's at learn.opensourceecology.org. And this event that's coming up, you can, if you click here, sign up for a, you can sign up, yeah, for a future event. How can they watch the home building that you're about to do in December? Is there a way that we can see that?
Yeah, there's actually, so we have a remote option for that. So people can also subscribe to the remote participation option, where you participate in some of the webinars and things. So that's available. If you go to the Future Builders Crash Course, both options, the remote and the on-site, are there.
Okay. All right. Very cool. I want to see that. And I would love for you to maybe post or share with us for the show pictures along the way of the progress of the home building. And we'd like to share those with the audience.
And afterwards, Mike, let's have Marcin back on, and you can talk about the build and show and tell. That would be very cool.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Let's do that, especially maybe after the holidays.
Right.
And people start thinking about homes and moving and things in the first part of the year. But when you come back, I want to ask you about things, tiny homes, so-called tiny homes and modular homes. And so there are many different approaches to home building. But I think the approach that you have is replicable, and it can be done locally. You don't have to have a central factory that makes things and then ships it out to you.
Absolutely. And because we're scalable, it's both scalable up and down. So you can make a micro house as well using the same type of modular construction system.
Right.
Wow. Okay. I can't wait. All right.
Yep.
Well, Marcin, it's just been a pleasure getting to speak with you today and meeting another like-minded human being who actually is fully human. That's because I keep wondering about some people, like, how come you're not in with the human race here? Because they're just in for themselves. But you're fully human. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Look forward to more collaboration. Okay.
Sounds great.
Thank you, Marcin.
Love
You were
to
great.
work with you.
Cheers.
Okay, so that's opensourceecology.org is the main website, or learn.opensourceecology if you would like to sign up and watch the construction event taking place, or learn how to make your own modular home on site for a fraction of the cost of a typical home builder. So, Todd, you and I are going to take a break, and we'll come back with the after party discussion right after the break. So stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
Perfect. All right.
All right, Marcin, there we go. That's the segment with you. We made it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Was going to ask, how would you like me to share, like, for example, during the build, like, do you want me to, like, I mean, we're going to actually keep an ongoing Google Photos folder where people upload the pictures on an ongoing basis.
Then yeah, you could just share with us the URL and we can just grab photos. And And I'd love to be able to assign to my staff some editorial coverage. If you have any, I don't know, it could be short write-ups or descriptions or press releases, or just anything that's text that we could work with.
Yeah, I mean, wow. You want to, let me just give you a link right now. So it's like, I talk about this quite a bit, and like, there's a page called if we are not sure, as I mentioned about the wiki, we are not short of written material. So if you
good.
take a look at this link, that's all the media we've been in. We've been everywhere. So you can take those, and I mean, you can feel free to use that. We just were featured in MIT Technology Review, things like that. Yeah, take a look at that.
Great.
It's definitely a trove of material in there.
Hey, Marcin, would it be possible for you to be able to have a camera that is taking pictures from an elevated state or whatever, where it would take it every so many,
Like a time lapse?
Yeah. So I mean, we're pressed against the deadline. I mean, we are aiming to get our internet into, because we're actually building the big hangar where we're going to be building right now. So if we get the time, we'll have fast internet where we can live stream. We're hoping to do that. I don't know, is there any way you guys can help actually wire up our internet in there? Because I mean, we've got so much preparation to do beforehand.
I can't think of any way.
I can't think of anything, but I was just even thinking without the internet, being able to save them, on a massive file.
Just so we can have a time lapse over.
Yeah.
Well, what I will do is we are setting up time lapse cameras, so we are going to capture the whole thing. So we'd like to get another TikTok, quick short form video out of this, because the next thing is, like we said, you've seen the viral video, right? That one, it was how I found true freedom about the skid steer. Have you seen that one?
No, I guess I haven't seen that one.
Let me show you that one, because we got 20 million views.
Wow.
Really?
So take a look at this one. And we're looking at publishing the next one, which is going to be how you found true freedom. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're trying to get some viral videos for people to sign up to the actually Future Builders Academy. And the offer to build people a home when they graduate, that's real. You build yourself during the program, you actually produce the materials, so that way you reduce that cost from like $40,000 maybe to like $10,000 in materials.
Right.
Is that video on YouTube?
Oh, which one? The
skid steer video.
It's on Instagram. It's we didn't even put it on. Do you see the chat link?
No, I don't. My producers can see it, but I can't see it at my desk.
Okay, it's
but
Instagram.
I'll get the link from
Just
them.
Look up open source ecology Instagram. It's on Instagram.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Because I'm very familiar with skid steers and repairing them.
Let me actually.
Okay, yeah, I see. I have your Instagram channel pulled up here.
Okay.
Is it the? There it is.
How I found true freedom.
Okay, how I found true freedom.
There we go.
Maybe I don't know how to use Instagram entirely,
2 million.
But yeah, I'll look for it.
Should I send that to Sally?
Yeah, send it to Sally. That'd be great.
Yep. I'll copy link and
All right.
Send it to her right now.
Okay. Sounds great. And this will come out next week.
Okay.
And we'll send you a link.
Okay.
And again, I'm going to have my crawler start crawling your wiki.
That's awesome.
And
now,
we'll publicly thank you for the content.
Thank you so much. No, that's great stuff that you're doing. That's great work. And hopefully we continue in touch. Now the other thing is, so I recorded this for myself. Do you mind if I post? I post that for our team, but do you mind if I post it publicly, or no? You just wait for the, because I post all the stuff I get on YouTube. I work really openly and transparently.
Yeah. No, I don't mind if you post it.
Okay, that'd be great.
I mean, post it as you like.
Yep.
There's going to be a larger episode. Todd and I are going to record the after party next, and then so our episode will be a little bit longer. But you're free to post what we've already done.
Awesome. That sounds good.